Hello, and welcome to Wine Grants, unscripted chat about the unfunded, the official podcast of the Unfunded List. I'm Dave Moss, and I am here this week with Anastasia Dellaccio. Say hello, Anastasia.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
And thank you very much for being here. This week is the Gelato edition of Wine Grants. We're enjoying a fine strawberry gelato from Dolce Gelati, located here in DC. We also have a fine Spanish Tempranillo that we're enjoying.
And gelato goes, especially strawberry gelato, goes really, really well with a nice fruity wine like this.
Yes, absolutely, and she would know. A new tradition that we have here on Wine Grants. This is the third edition. Welcome to our loyal listeners. One of the things I like to do is I like to read my guest bio out loud, which I will do now. Anastasia Dellaccio is the Director of Marketing and Communications for Sister Cities International, an organization spanning 145 countries, whose mission is to build relationships between cities and citizens in the U.S. and cities abroad in order to facilitate peace and mutual understanding. Prior to joining Sister Cities International, Anastasia worked at the United Nations Foundation, leading and launching major projects such as building global support around the United Nations post-2015 global goals, the Social Good Summit, the Plus Social Good Community, and a global day focused on giving back called Giving Tuesday. Anastasia has won various prestigious awards for her work, including a PR award, a global PR award, a Sabre, a Big Apple, and an international Con Leon. Anastasia Dellaccio is the co-owner of Dolce Gelati, who supplied the gelato today, an artisan, all-natural gelato company based in Washington, D.C. Anastasia co-chairs the Millennial Action Council and helped to launch the Millennial Action Project. She sits on the Clinton Foundation 2030 Millennial Program National Leadership Committee, is a member of the Franklin Project Young Leaders Committee at the Aspen Institute, is on the steering committee for the Women's Leadership Forum of the Democratic National Committee, and is a Women's Committee member for the Washington Ballet. She's a UN Foundation and Social Good Connector and a Truman National Security Project political partner. And right now, she's in a booth with Dave Moss having wine and gelato. And she's here to talk about unfunded projects.
I am indeed.
So you do an awful lot of stuff and have done awful lot of stuff. I think it's unlikely we'll be able to talk about it all. And I know that you probably have somewhere more important to be after this. I really hope that that's true. One of the most relevant reasons for having you on is that the unfunded list will come out on Giving Tuesday, and I chose that day because, trying to harness some of the power of the hashtag. As one of the folks who helped develop the concept, can you tell us a little bit about why you and who and the genesis of Giving Tuesday? Tell our listeners a little bit about it.
Absolutely. So, you think about the holidays, they're traditionally about giving, right? But you've got 2 days that are very much focused on shopping and commerce. So you've got Black Friday, you've got Cyber Monday, and 2 days that are dedicated to shopping and commerce. When Henry Timms from the 92nd Street Y first came up with the idea of Giving Tuesday, the whole thought was, why not have a day that's focused on philanthropy and giving back? So it came to the UN Foundation, Kathy Calvin, who's the president and CEO, and at the time, back in the day, Kathy had helped to launch Cyber Monday with AOL, and so she was kind of a natural ally, and she said, "Yeah, we're on board. We'll do it." And so, as part of the public affairs team with the UN Foundation at the time, it became my job to really help to come up with ideas for how to launch this movement, come up with a plan, and just kind of galvanize the world around giving, and we were definitely able to.
Awesome. And what would you have any advice or suggestions for folks who are out there in the audience who are fundraising, how they might, or people who in their local communities who are interested in Giving Tuesday, what they might do about it? Would you like them to tweet or?
Sure,
want them to give, right?
Obviously. Well, the whole thing is it's non-exclusive. There's a no barrier entry. Like, anyone can be part of it. Anyone can be part of the global day. You just have to launch something. But what I will say is, be creative about it. And don't be afraid of traditional methods. So whether you're going to pair a phone-a-thon with your online giving movement, whether you're going to secure a matching grant, whether you're going to reach out to kind of innovative figures in your neighborhood and do a drive to launch something for a local project, whether you're going to, create a new Instagram account for lions to tweet about their cubs every single day because you're raising money for World Wildlife Fund or whatever it is. I think creativity is the way to go. And I think that you need to kind of use any kind of method that there is out there. I think partnerships do really, really well. And I think that, leveraging assets that you have in your community, whether it's reaching out to your mayor to get a proclamation for your city, whether it's reaching out to strong local voices or local community businesses to help host things with you. I think creativity is going to help you stand out from the crowd. And I think that the sooner you get going, the better. So I know now at Sister Cities International, which is where I am, we're crafting our idea, our concept, which will launch soon enough. And the easier you can make it for your members in your network to do it well, the better. So, for Sister Cities International, we're going to be launching something with CrowdRise and their Giving Tower. And we're drafting digital toolkits and sample social media language, sample emails, sample everything. We're hosting webinars, we're hosting calls. We're just trying to make it as easy as possible so that way the people that we want to be working with us to raise can just do something very plug and play and easy.
Thank you very much. There's two things you've said so far that I'd like to comment on. One, this gelato is delicious.
Thank you.
And you're very much right. The strawberry and the red wine go really well together. I'm going to got a little gelato left, but I'm going to top off my wine. Please bear with me. The other thing you said I find quite interesting is pairing traditional methods with some of the newer online fundraising. I think a lot of your newer, younger nonprofits see something like Giving Tuesday, or they basically look exclusively online for their funding sources. It is definitely true that you can still fundraise over the phone and through the mail. And I think something we actually, our very first guest talked about this. So every state in America has a grants line run by the government. You dial 211 and you get connected to somebody who can help find funding for your nonprofit or have ideas like that. You've mentioned reach out to your mayor to come up with a proclamation. It's easy enough for him to write, or she to write a proclamation. If you're running a nonprofit in that town, the mayor is going to have a vested interest in supporting it. These are methods that were around when Sister Cities was founded. They still work. And just because there are, I think having a new Instagram account and, being aware of the Giving Tuesday hashtag on Twitter and stuff are important, but they can be, I think it's an important reminder for the folks that they can be reminded that they can use some of the traditional methods. I'd like to give you some time to talk a little bit more about Sister Cities. I myself am from Waterville, Maine. Our sister city was Kotlas, Russia. I remember when you would drive in to Waterville, there was a sign, and it said, it was "Welcome to Waterville." I don't know if the sign is still there. I haven't been back in a little while. But "Welcome to Waterville, sister city of Kotlas, Russia." And a couple of times we had some Russians come visit us, I think. It's possible some of my friends went to Kotlas. It's like when we were in high school, some sort of exchange thing. But can you tell, was that unique for me in Waterville, or are there other cities that have sisters?
So I think what makes me love my job so much are people like you, and that pretty much everyone I meet, at first I'm like, oh, yeah, I work with sister cities, and people are like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, have you ever landed in an airport and it says our sister cities are Nairobi, Tokyo, here, there? And then all of a sudden it sparks excitement. So everyone has a story to tell about their experience. Sister Cities was founded in 1956 after World War II. By President Eisenhower. Not everyone knows this, and I know you love things that not everyone knows.
Yeah.
So, part of the problem that we were facing was how do you assimilate, the Japanese and the Germans back into the world, and how do you ensure that something like a World War II doesn't happen again? And part of the problem, why people fight and there's no peace is because there's no mutual understanding, and with lack of understanding of other people's culture, you're less likely to want to engage with them. So Sister Cities was created. The first countries to have sister cities after World War II were Japan and Germany. And 60 years ago, you would have said, well, who would ever want to partner with Japan? I'll never partner with them. We'll never do business with them. We
Mm-hmm.
just drop bombs on
Mm-hmm.
them. Look, now Japan is one of our closest allies. So, now we're trying to build bridges with Iran and with Afghanistan and with Burma and all these other, Myanmar, with all these other countries that traditionally haven't had partnerships. But, by connecting citizens and cities and people, we don't have to wait for change to trickle down at the federal level. We don't have to wait
Be waiting for a while.
Exactly. So we can take matters into our own hands. And right now there's over 525 cities in the U.S. that have almost 2,500 partnerships with countries abroad. Most recently, Cuba.
Wow.
We've normalized diplomatic relations. So like the phone we have, oh my God, you'll love this, Dave. We have this program called Cities Seeking Cities. It's kind of like Match.com for cities.
Like Tinder.
It's Tinder for cities. And so, of course, everyone was like, oh my God, I want to be the first sister city with Cuba. And we're like, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Been there, done that. Yeah, we've got like 10 of them.
So there's already, Havana has sister cities in the U.S.?
Although we're currently trying to make a match between Havana, Illinois and Havana, Cuba.
Oh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, they're
Havana,
hot.
Illinois.
They're hot on each other.
Yeah. They send a wink, I think. You probably don't know how Match.com works.
I kind of don't.
That's, yeah.
We can send them a wine grant.
Yeah. If anyone from Havana, Illinois wants to come in, talk about it, we've got, we have wine available here in the booth.
And cigars.
Well, no, I don't think they'd like for us.
Could be the cigar edition.
We could. Yeah, eventually we'll probably have some. We'll be smoking something in the booth. I imagine. There is a number of issues out there around smoking that might not be finding funding. I don't know. And it's a rising legislative tide around legalization. All right, very good. I do like to usually mention how folks came to be in the booth. Anastasia and I have known each other for a little while. It took us a little bit before the podcast to figure out exactly how. We're pretty sure we met at the United Nations, part of a summit that was up there. And today we both shared it. I noticed we both shared an article on Facebook. I think I shared your sharing of it. Apparently, the UN and UN General Assembly Week, we just came back from there last week, is the new Bonnaroo. I don't know what what the old Bonnaroo is. I don't really go to things that are that cool. But you're a big fan. I know you've been to a lot more ungas than I have. And we now have this one was kind of exciting because there was actually something new happening with the UN. There are now 17 global goals. There are I've noticed since the global goals have been announced, and you did a really good job on the train back from New York naming most of them. I think of all the people involved, you might know the most. You might be able to know the most. So you can match them with their numbers and everything. It's crazy. Even the partnerships one, which is they just sort of snuck in there. I think I'm not sure what kind of a goal that is. Partnerships are important, but it's a means to an end, not necessarily a goal. Like our goal is that we're going to have partnerships. It's whatever. But good for them. These are a little bit better than the last set of goals that came out with. I've noticed since we're up there, there's a lot of nonprofits out there trying to engage around the global goals because a lot of them are doing work on it. As someone who's been a little bit of an insider on this, and who probably plans to participate through one of the several dozen different activities you're involved with. How should someone who has a potential solution or a method of reaching one of the global goals, how should they? I mean, it can be a little bit intimidating. The UN, it's the new Coachella or whatever. How is some small nonprofit that might be able to move the needle supposed to navigate that space?
It's a really great question. Well, I actually think for nonprofits, one of the best places that they can visit is the Action 2015.
Mhm.
So I believe now there's well over 2,000 global organizations that are part of this movement. So, whether they're dealing with water issues, whether they're dealing with, generating new ideas around vaccine provision, relating to global health goals, whether, um, they're developing solutions for sustainable cities. It kind of runs the gamut. So if you're a nonprofit really looking to engage and be part of this network, go to action2015.org. You can join. You can be part of it. They give you amazing toolkits and social media languages and actual ways to get involved and get engaged and get on the radar. You can visit theglobalgoals.org and or if you want to kind of just find out more about them. Um, and I think that there are places like the UN Foundation, and they run the Plus Social Good Network. And if you're young, the youth. I
We
think
have a
it's
very young audience, so
young audience.
almost all of them are
So
young,
I know that the youth envoy
young
at
at
the
heart, anyway.
UN, they've launched a new movement to galvanize young people who are developing solutions who want to get involved. So I definitely encourage anyone to visit any of these sites
Hmm.
and to jump on board. And anyone can be doing stuff. And I think that the important part is kind of raising awareness about what you're doing and again being creative about it.
Hmm.
So if you have a project that's unfunded, obviously submit it to the unfunded list. They'll give you a strategy on how
Listen to
to
her.
help develop your solution, especially as it relates to the global goals. And look, there's 17 of them, so chances are your project might fit one.
Probably.
Probably.
Hmm.
And we're always happy to take a look and give advice on how to better
Thanks.
build your solution.
I know you're tight on time. I wanted to ask just one more question. So I moved to DC like a lot of folks do because I was sort of interested in politics and being involved with it. I took an unpaid internship here in DC. Speaking of unfunded, at a place called Progressive Majority that helped local candidates to get elected. It was interesting. It was an interesting experience. I learned a lot about fundraising and. I really politics and just the way this town works, not for me. It became very clear it wasn't for me. On top of running a successful gelato franchise and your diplomacy work and obviously the significant commitment that the Washington Ballet must present to you, also do stuff with the politicos. I'm particularly impressed by the Millennial Action Project and some of the work you've done there. I got to go to a pretty cool event last year where I got to meet a senator who shall remain nameless, and he's running for president, and I don't like him very much. But it was a cool event. It was a cool experience, and I also met the youngest mayor in the country. His name was Torpy, the South Orange. Alex, is that his name? I remember that. Interesting.
Nice.
Well, it was pretty cool. I just want to hear. I think you were one of the first folks, or I don't know exactly. It's probably best to just let you sort of talk a little bit about the Millennial Action Project before we wrap up here. We're running low on wine, so.
Yeah, it's true. We are. Wow, that was pretty fast.
Yeah.
Two of
Yeah.
us.
It goes down.
Two of
quickly
us in a
booth.
tiny room. Jeez.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Millennial Action Project is one of the things that I'm working with right now that I'm most passionate about. And kind of the whole theory of change is that, I think living here in DC, you see it, that now, Congress, they come in Tuesday, they leave Thursday, they don't really know each other. It's kind of taboo to reach across the aisle and talk to anyone. And we kind of believe that as millennials, as young people, we do share certain ideals that we can agree on. But if there's no forum for us to come together and talk about these, it's the same thing with sister cities or anything else. It's through mutual understanding. That's how you find compromise, and that's how you move on. And part of the reason why we're at this bipartisan stalemate right now is because people from both sides of the aisle, like quite literally, progressives, conservatives, they don't know each other. They don't have a forum to come together. So we launched the Future Caucus, the Congressional Future Caucus, which is right now co-chaired by Tulsi Gabbard and Will Hurd.
Mm.
And we've launched future caucuses in various states all over the country, and maybe about a dozen of them. So California, Pennsylvania, Florida. And our whole theory of change is that by providing these forums where young people who are elected in office can come together, and reach across the aisle, then we can hopefully get past this bipartisan stalemate that we're currently at. So it's one of the things that I'm working towards. And, I'm involved in politics, the ballet, gelato, whatever. But, I guess I will end by saying that as a Washingtonian, I think what really makes this town special is that, you know, people are really involved in causes and purpose, and people are driven. And I think it's something like young people and people all over should find one thing that they're passionate about and get behind it. And we're at the age now where everyone can make a difference and everyone can use their voice to be heard. So whether your project is funded or not, get out there, talk, get to social media, talk to other connected people, talk to other advisors, find out how to do more, find out how to do better. And there's nothing that can hold you back but yourself and your own fears.
Mm. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us in the booth here today for Wine Grants. I hope that someday you'll be our first repeat guest. Hope to have you back very soon. We'll try a different flavor of gelato. Do you have any wine flavored
Actually,
gelatos?
we do. Oh, we have
Yeah.
this Marsala wine,
You have a
honey mascarpone fig.
Really?
It's
Okay. Well, for next time,
pretty delish.
we'll have that. And if any of the 19 projects you're involved with fail to find funding somewhere, please have them submit to the unfunded list. Again, thank you very much for joining us. As always, I want to thank our host, the Lookout DC, which is a beautiful co-working community for filmmakers located in the Adams Morgan neighborhood of Washington, D.C. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Hi, Mom. Would you like to say hi to your...
Hi, Mom.
All right, thank you, and good luck with your funding.